Unlock English. Beyond the definition. Introduction. You know that feeling. You see a word you don't know. Maybe it's in a book, on a website, or someone says it. What do? Most people grab a dictionary. For a long time, we thought dictionaries were just for finding meanings. You look up a word, get its meaning, and that's it. It's like a quick answer for a word. But what if this is like only looking at the cover of a really cool book? You miss so much. This book, Unlock English, Beyond the Definition, will show you that dictionaries are much more than just lists of meanings. They are like treasure boxes full of tools to help you learn English words really well. We will go beyond the definition. This means we will look at all the other helpful things dictionaries tell us. These things will make your learning faster, deeper, and better. First, we will look at the word's history. Think of it like a word's family tree. Learning where a word came from helps you understand its meaning and remember it always. Then, we will look at words that mean almost the same thing. These are called synonyms. Knowing synonyms gives you more choices when you talk or write. It makes your language better and clearer. We will also look at words that mean the opposite. These are called antonyms. Knowing opposites helps make a word's meaning very clear and shows how it is different from other words. And very importantly, we will look at example sentences. These are like small stories that show you how to use a word in real life. They help you use new words the right way and feel sure when you use them. When you look at all these parts of a word in the dictionary, you don't just learn one meaning. You learn the whole story of the word. Using all these parts of a dictionary together is called holistic dictionary use. It's a secret way to truly learn English words. Holistic means whole or complete. So, holistic dictionary use means using the dictionary in a full, complete way. It's seeing the dictionary as one big, connected thing, not just separate facts. When you use a dictionary this way, you do more than just remember meanings. You start to understand words. You see how they fit into the whole English language. This makes learning much better. Words stay in your mind longer, you use them correctly, and you build a strong understanding of words. This helps you speak and write English with more confidence because you truly know your words. And it doesn't matter if you use online dictionaries or paper ones. This way of using them works for both. In the next parts of this book, we will go on a trip. We will look at each of these dictionary treasures one by one. The word's history, synonyms, antonyms, and example sentences. We will give you easy ways to use them well. By the end of this book, you will see dictionaries in a new way. You will have the tools and the thinking to go beyond the definition and truly learn the power of English. Words. So, are you ready to change your dictionary from a simple tool to your best English learning friend? Let's start. 1. Using English dictionaries well. Learning a new language can feel like trying to build a house with only a hammer. You can do some work, but you're missing so many essential tools. For a long time, many of us have treated our English dictionaries like just that, a single tool for finding a meaning. We look up a word, read its definition, and think we've done our job. But what if I told you that your dictionary is actually a whole toolbox, filled with fascinating treasures waiting to be discovered? What if, by using it in a smarter way, you could build your English vocabulary not just bigger, but stronger and more beautiful? This is where we move beyond just knowing what a word means to truly understanding it. It's about using your dictionary not as a quick answer machine, but as a personal guide, a wise teacher, and a friendly companion on your journey. This approach, which we call holistic dictionary use, means looking at all the information a dictionary entry gives you. It's about exploring where a word comes from, what other words are like it, and how people actually use it in real life. By doing this, you're not just memorizing words, you're building a deep, lasting connection with them. You're moving from simply recognizing words to confidently using them yourself. Let me tell you about Maria. When Maria first started learning English, she was very dedicated. She had a thick English dictionary and she used it every day. She would read a word, find its meaning, write it down, and then move on. But she found herself forgetting words quickly. When she tried to speak, the right words just wouldn't come to her. She felt stuck, like she was always on the edge of understanding, but never quite there. She'd say things like, "The party was good," when she really wanted to say it was amazing or fantastic. She knew the basic meanings, but the words felt like strangers she'd met once and forgotten. One day, her teacher, Professor Lexicon, noticed her struggle. He sat with her and opened her dictionary. "Maria," he said gently, "you're using this like a simple list of meanings. But look here." He pointed to the word happy. "You know it means feeling good, right?" Maria nodded. "But look at where this word comes from." He showed her the etymology section, explaining that happy used to mean lucky or fortunate. So when you feel happy, he explained, it's like good luck has found you. Maria's eyes widened. That simple idea made the word feel more alive. Then Professor Lexicon showed her the synonyms. He pointed out words like joyful, content, pleased, and ecstatic. "See?" he said. "You don't always have to say good. You can choose a word that fits exactly how you feel. If you are just a little happy, content might be perfect. If you are extremely happy, ecstatic is a much stronger word." He also showed her the antonyms: sad, unhappy, miserable. This helped Maria understand happy by knowing what it wasn't. It was like drawing a clear picture by showing the empty space around it. Finally, he guided her to the example sentences. He showed her how happy could be used. She was happy to see her friend. He gave a happy sigh. The children had a happy time at the park. Maria saw how the words around happy changed its meaning a little. She saw that you could be happy to do something, or have a happy feeling, or have a happy time. This was the biggest change for her. She realized that knowing the meaning was only the first step. Seeing how words were used in real sentences was like watching them in action. After that day, Maria changed how she used her dictionary. Every time she looked up a word, she made herself read its origin, look at its synonyms and antonyms, and study at least 2 or 3 example sentences. It took more time at first, but something amazing happened. The words started to stick. They felt more familiar, more like old friends. When she spoke, she found herself reaching for those more precise synonyms. She could express herself with more color and detail. She felt more confident and her English grew much faster. She had unlocked the true power of her dictionary. Let's explore these hidden gems in your dictionary a bit more. Unlocking word origins. The story behind the word. Think of words like old trees. They have roots that go deep into the past. Understanding a word's origin, or its etymology, is like digging down to find those roots. It's the history of the word, where it came from, and how its meaning has changed over time. This might sound like just a fun fact, but it's incredibly useful for learning. Why is knowing a word's history so helpful? Firstly, it makes words easier to remember. When you know that the word salary comes from the Latin word sal, meaning salt, it's easier to remember. In ancient Rome, soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, which was a very valuable thing. So, the money you earn is like your salt money. This story sticks in your mind much better than just a definition. Secondly, etymology helps you see connections between words. Many English words come from Latin or Greek. If you learn the root bene, which means good in Latin, you'll start seeing it in words like benefit, benevolent, and benediction. Suddenly, you're not just learning one word, you're unlocking the meaning of several words at once. It's like finding a secret code. Thirdly, understanding a word's origin can give you a deeper sense of its meaning. Take the word disaster. It comes from Latin words meaning bad star. In old times, people believed that stars could control their fate, so a disaster was an event caused by bad stars. This gives you a sense of something powerful and uncontrollable happening, which is often true of disasters. So the next time you look up a word, don't just skip the etymology. Take a moment to read it. Ask yourself, does this story help me understand the word better? Does it connect to other words I know? It's a small step, but it's a powerful way to make words truly yours. Expanding your word network. Synonyms and antonyms. Imagine your vocabulary is like a city. The main words are the big streets, but the synonyms and antonyms are all the smaller roads, alleys, and parks that make the city interesting and explorable. When you only know the main streets, your city is a bit plain, but when you explore the smaller paths, you discover so much more. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings. If you look up big, your dictionary will show you words like large, huge, enormous, gigantic, and vast. These words aren't exactly the same, though. Big is a general word. Huge and enormous suggest something much bigger than just big. Gigantic makes you think of something as big as a giant. Vast often describes space, like a vast ocean or a vast desert. By looking at synonyms, you learn to choose the perfect word for what you want to say. Instead of always saying, I feel good, you can say, I feel content meaning happy and satisfied, or I feel joyful meaning very happy, or I feel pleased meaning happy because something good happened. This makes your speaking and writing much more interesting and precise. It's like painting with a full palette of colors instead of just one or two. Antonyms, on the other hand, are words with opposite meanings. For big, the antonyms are small, little, tiny, and minuscule. Knowing the opposite helps you understand a word by contrast. It's like understanding light by knowing what darkness is. When you know happy means feeling good, knowing that sad means feeling bad helps you grasp the full meaning of happy. Exploring synonyms and antonyms helps you build a rich network of words around a central idea. You create a mental map. When you think of happy, you don't just have one word in your mind. You have a whole group of related words, each with its own shade of meaning. This makes it much easier to recall the right word when you need it. You're not searching for a single word. You're navigating a familiar landscape of meaning. So, when you're in the dictionary, always look for the synonyms and antonyms. Ask yourself, how is this synonym different from the main word? How is this antonym its opposite? This active comparison builds a much stronger understanding than just reading a single definition. Learning in action, the power of example sentences. This is perhaps the most vital part of holistic dictionary use. A definition tells you what a word means. Synonyms and antonyms help you place it in a family of words. But example sentences show you how the word lives in the real world. They are like watching a bird fly before you try to draw it. Example sentences are crucial because they show you correct usage in context. You see how the word is used naturally with other words. For instance, you might learn that we often say have a good time or have a happy time, not usually. Make a happy time. Common collocations. Collocations are words that often go together. Your dictionary might show you that we take a risk, not make a risk, or we break a promise, not cut a promise. Learning these natural pairings is essential for sounding like a native speaker. Grammatical patterns. You see if the word is used as a noun, verb, or adjective, and how it fits into sentences. You might see that beautiful is an adjective used like, it is a beautiful day. And its related noun is beauty, used like, the beauty of the sunset was amazing. Without example sentences, you might know that enormous means very big, but you might not know how to use it. You might try to say, I have an enormous idea, which sounds a bit strange. An example sentence like, the enormous whale breached the surface of the ocean shows you how enormous is typically used for large, physical things. This is where the shift from passive learning to active learning happens. Simply reading a definition is passive. Looking at synonyms and antonyms is a step more active. But studying example sentences and trying to create your own based on them? That's truly active learning. It's the bridge between understanding a word and being able to use it confidently yourself. How do you actively use example sentences? Don't just read them. Try to understand why the sentence is written that way. Then try to write your own sentence using the word. It doesn't have to be perfect at first. The goal is to practice. If the example sentence is, she felt a pang of regret, you could try writing, he felt a pang of hunger before dinner. You are using the structure and the idea of the example to create something new. This is how you make the word part of your own language. Putting it all together, your practical steps. So, how do you actually do this holistic dictionary use every time you look up a word? Here's a simple, step-by-step guide. 1. Identify the word. You see or hear a word you don't know. 2. Find it in the dictionary. Open your physical dictionary or your digital app. 3. Read the primary definition S. Get the basic meaning first. This is your starting point. 4. Explore the etymology. Look for the word's origin. Read the short story. Does it make the word clearer or more memorable? 5. Check the synonyms and antonyms. See what other words are related. How are they? 2. Learning new words easily. Sometimes, when we see a new word, we just look at its meaning quickly. We find it in a book that tells us what words mean, and we think we know it. But this is like seeing only one side of a shiny coin. The other side, which we don't see, has much more. This is why learning new words can feel like hard work, like trying to remember a name you only heard once. You might remember it for a short time, but it often goes away, right? This happens because we don't really get to know the word. We don't let it into our minds in a way that makes it stay. Think about when you meet someone new. You might learn their name, but you learn more by hearing their stories, seeing them laugh, or knowing what they care about. Words are like this. Just knowing their basic meaning is only the start. When we stop looking after we find the meaning, we miss out on understanding a lot. This is the first look problem. It makes learning feel harder than it needs to be because the words don't become truly ours. They stay a bit far away, a bit hard to hold. Real learning, the kind that makes words easy to remember and use, is not about quick memorizing. It's about understanding in a deeper, more connected way. Let me tell you about when I was learning English. I found the word benevolent. I looked it up and it said kind and generous. Okay, I thought. Kind and generous. I tried to use it, but it felt a bit strange. I wasn't sure if it was the right word for every time someone was kind. It was like having a tool but not knowing how to use it. I kept forgetting it, or using it in ways that felt a little wrong. Then, one day, I was looking at another word, benefactor. The book told me it was someone who gives money to help a person or group. And then I saw it. A small note about where the word came from. It said Benny comes from an old language and means good. And volens means wishing. So, benevolent actually means wishing good. Suddenly, the word made sense. It wasn't just kind and generous. It was someone who wished good things for others, and because of that, they acted kindly and generously. This made the word much clearer. It felt alive. I understood why it had that meaning. From then on, I didn't just remember benevolent. I understood it. I could see it was linked to benefit something good and benediction a good blessing. It was like finding a whole family for the word, and that made it much easier to remember and use. This is the power of looking past the first meaning. This journey into a word's past, its family tree, is called etymology. It's like being a detective for words. You look for clues about where a word came from, what language it started in, and how its meaning might have changed. Many books that explain words will give you this information. When you see that a word like benevolent comes from Benny Good and Volan's wishing, its meaning becomes much stronger. In your mind, you can see the reason. You understand the main idea. This makes the word easier to recall because it's linked to something you already know, the idea of good. Think about other words. If you see an at the start of a word, you probably already know it means not. So if you see unhappy, you know it means not happy. If you see unbelievable, it means not believable. This simple knowledge of word beginnings and endings, which are parts of etymology, makes learning new words much faster. You don't have to learn unhappy from nothing. You already know what happy means, and you know what does. You are building on what you already know, which is a much better way to learn. Etymology helps us understand not just the basic meaning, but also the feeling, or the small difference in meaning a word has. For example, the word disaster. If you look at its origin, you'll find it comes from dis meaning away or apart and aster meaning star. In old times, people thought stars controlled people's luck. So a disaster was really a bad star or a sign that the stars were against you. Knowing this helps you understand why disaster feels like something that happens suddenly and you can't control, like fate interfering. It's more than just a terrible event. It carries a sense of bad luck and not being able to do anything. This deeper understanding makes the word much more powerful in what you say. Sometimes, just knowing where a word comes from is enough to understand its meaning. You don't need to memorize a long definition. The origin itself is the key. It's like having a secret code that makes the word easy to understand. This is a big part of making learning new words feel easy because it connects new information to old, making the whole process feel less like hard work and more like solving a puzzle. But etymology is only one part of the story. Another way to truly get to know a word is by seeing how it fits with other words. This is where synonyms and antonyms come in. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings, and antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. Books that explain words usually list these, and they are very helpful for understanding. Let's go back to happy. If you look up happy in a good book, you'll find many synonyms: joyful, cheerful, glad, pleased, content, ecstatic, delighted. Now, if you just knew happy meant feeling good, you might use it for everything. But by looking at the synonyms, you start to see the differences. Joyful often means a deeper, stronger happiness. Cheerful is about a bright, pleasant mood. Content means being happy with what you have. Ecstatic is extreme happiness, almost too much. By looking at these synonyms, you learn that words are not just simple labels. They have different feelings, different strengths. This helps you choose the perfect word for what you want to say. Instead of just saying I am happy about the party, you might realize that I am thrilled about the party, or I am delighted to be here sounds much better. This ability to pick the right word makes your English sound more natural and smart. It's like having many colors to paint with instead of just one. You can create a much richer picture with your words. Antonyms are just as useful. Knowing that happy is the opposite of sad helps define happy by what it is not. If you understand sad, you have a clear idea of happy. This is especially helpful for words that have meanings that are a bit hard to explain. For example, the word ubiquitous. It means found everywhere. If you look up its antonym, you might see words like rare, scarce, or uncommon. This difference immediately makes it clear that ubiquitous is the exact opposite of things that are hard to find. It makes the everywhere part of the word stand out. Using synonyms and antonyms helps you build a network of words in your mind. Each new word you learn is not alone. It's connected to many other words. This web of connections makes words much easier to remember. When you think of happy, you might also think of joyful, glad, and sad. All these words help each other in your memory. This is a much stronger way to learn than trying to remember each word as a separate thing. It makes learning feel more natural and less like a list of things to cram. Finally, and maybe most importantly, we need to see words being used. This is where example sentences are very important. A definition can tell you what a word means, but an example sentence shows you how to use it. It's like watching a chef cook a meal versus just reading the recipe. You see the ingredients, the word, but you also see the way they do it, the timing, and how it looks in the end. Think about the word affect. The meaning might say to influence or make a difference to. That's helpful, but an example sentence can show you how it's used in different ways. For instance, the weather will affect our travel plans. Here, it means influence. His calm voice did not seem to affect the angry crowd. Here, it means make a difference to. Now, let's think about a word that often causes confusion, effect. The meaning might be a result or consequence. But again, examples make it clear. The medicine had a positive effect on her health. Here, it's the result. We are studying the effects of climate change. Here, it's the result. Seeing these sentences helps you understand the small difference between affect, usually a word that shows action, meaning to influence, and effect, usually a word that names something, meaning a result. Without example sentences, you might mix these up all the time. But with them, you see the pattern. You see how the word fits into a sentence. Example sentences also show you the words that often go with a word, the words that are usually used together. This is called collocation. For instance, you might learn that we often say make an effect or have an effect, rather than just an effect. Or we might greatly affect someone. These are natural pairings that make your English sound more smooth. Let's take another example. The word exquisite. The meaning might be extremely beautiful and delicate, but look at how it's used. She wore an exquisite silk gown. The chef prepared an exquisite meal. The craftsmanship of the antique watch was exquisite. These sentences show you that exquisite is used for things that are not just beautiful, but also made with great skill, detailed, and often rare or special. It's not a word you would usually use for a simple cup of coffee, but you might use it for the artful way it was made or the delicate pattern on the cup itself. This real-life use is what makes learning words truly easy and effective. You're not just remembering a meaning, you're learning how to use the word with confidence. So, how does all of this make learning new words easier in the long run? It's because we are moving past just remembering single facts. We are building connections. When you only focus on the meaning, you are trying to remember one piece of information. It's like trying to hold a single grain of sand. It's easy to lose. But when you look at the etymology, you connect the word to its beginnings, to its history. When you look at synonyms and antonyms, you place the word within a group of related ideas. And when you look at example sentences, you see the word being used, working with other words in real talking. This creates a rich, deep understanding. It's like building a strong house, not just one brick. This using the dictionary fully, as we call it, means you're not just passively getting information. You're actively exploring. You're asking questions. You're making connections. This active learning is much more effective for memory and understanding than simple memorizing. It's the difference between reading a book and truly understanding its story, its people, and its main ideas. What are some common mistakes people make when they only focus on word meanings? 3. Looking beyond definitions. There was a time, not so long ago, when I felt like I was trying to build a house with only half the tools. I'd find a new English word, maybe something like ephemeral, and I'd look up its meaning. Lasting for a very short time. Okay, I understood that. But then, when I tried to use it in a sentence, it felt awkward, like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. I'd stare at my writing, wondering why the rain was ephemeral didn't sound quite right, even though it was technically correct. It was a frustrating cycle. I was looking up words, yes, but I wasn't truly understanding them. This is where the idea of holistic dictionary use truly changed things for me. It's about seeing the dictionary not as a simple list of meanings, but as a treasure chest, packed with clues that help you unlock the heart of a word. It's about going beyond the definition, and that's exactly what we're going to explore now. Think of a word's definition as the front door. It tells you the name of the house and perhaps a quick idea of what's inside. But what if you could explore the whole property? What if you could see the blueprints, meet the neighbors, and watch how people live there? That's what looking beyond the definition allows us to do. Let's start with the word's family tree. Every word has a history, a story of where it came from. This is called etymology. When you look up the etymology of a word, you're tracing its roots, often back to ancient languages like Latin or Greek. This isn't just a dry academic exercise. It's a powerful tool for understanding. Knowing where a word comes from can shed so much light on its current meaning and how it's used. Consider the Latin word portere, which means to carry. This single root is the ancestor of so many English words. When you see port in a word, you have a built-in clue. If you're trying to understand transport, knowing that port means to carry and trans means across makes it easy. You're carrying something across. Similarly, import is carrying in and export is carrying out. And portable? That's something that can be carried. Suddenly, a whole group of words becomes connected, like a family. You don't just memorize individual meanings, you understand the underlying idea that links them. This makes them stick in your mind much better. It's like learning one core concept and having it unlock the meaning of many others. This connection makes the word feel more familiar, more real, and far easier to remember than just a string of letters and a definition. This exploration of origins helps us grasp the subtle shades of meaning that a simple definition might miss. It explains why a word has the meaning it does. For example, the word benevolent might be defined as kind. But if you know that bene means good and volens means wishing from Latin, you understand that a benevolent person is someone who wishes good things for others. This deeper understanding makes the word more vivid and easier to use correctly. You're not just memorizing a label, you're understanding the essence of the word. Next, let's talk about a word's neighbors. In the dictionary, you'll often find lists of synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings, and antonyms are words with opposite meanings. Exploring these is like getting to know a word's friends and rivals. It helps you understand the fine differences between words that seem alike. Imagine you want to describe someone who is happy. You could use the word happy. But what if you want to express a stronger feeling? Looking at synonyms for happy might reveal words like joyful or ecstatic. Joyful suggests a deeper, more profound happiness, perhaps, related to a specific event. Ecstatic is even stronger, an overwhelming feeling of delight. The basic definition of happy is a good start, but by looking at its synonyms, you learn to choose the perfect word to express the exact level of happiness you mean. This is crucial for making your language rich and precise. Similarly, looking at antonyms helps you understand what a word isn't. If you know that the antonym of brave is cowardly, you gain a clear picture of what bravery truly means. It's not just the absence of fear, but an active facing of it. This comparison sharpens your understanding and prevents you from misusing words. You begin to see words not in isolation, but as part of a vibrant network of related ideas. This network effect is a powerful learning strategy. When you understand how words relate to each other, you build a much stronger mental map of your vocabulary. This brings us to perhaps the most important part of looking beyond the definition: example sentences. A definition tells you what a word means, but example sentences show you how it lives. They are the word in action, demonstrating its natural habitat. When you read an example sentence, you see how the word is actually used in real communication. You learn its grammatical role. Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective? You see what other words it commonly appears with, known as collocations. For instance, you might learn that we often say a fleeting moment or a fleeting glance, but rarely a fleeting table. This tells you that fleeting is usually used to describe abstract things or actions that happen quickly. Example sentences also reveal idiomatic uses where a word or phrase has a meaning that isn't obvious from the individual words. They show you the natural rhythm and flow of the language. For me, the ephemeral example was a turning point. I looked up example sentences and saw it used like, "The beauty of the cherry blossoms is ephemeral, lasting only a week," or "His fame was ephemeral, quickly forgotten after the movie." Suddenly, I understood. Ephemeral wasn't just about short time. It was about something beautiful or noticeable that disappears quickly, often leaving a sense of wistfulness. It was about delicate, temporary things. My writing started to feel more natural, more alive, because I was seeing and understanding how native speakers actually used the words. This active engagement with the dictionary entry, exploring its history, its relatives, and its real-world applications, is what we call holistic dictionary use. It moves you from being a passive reader of definitions to an active explorer of language. It's like going from simply looking at a map to actually walking the streets, meeting the people, and understanding the culture of a place. When you only look at the definition, you're getting a single snapshot. But with holistic use, you're watching a movie. You see the word's journey, its connections, and its purpose. This depth of understanding makes new words much easier to remember and much more comfortable to use. You build confidence because you're not just guessing, you're drawing on a richer, more complete picture of the word. So, the next time you open a dictionary, remember it's not just a book of answers. It's a guide, a storyteller, and a treasure map. By digging a little deeper, by looking beyond that first definition, you'll find that English vocabulary opens up in ways you never imagined. You'll start to feel the connections between words, understand their subtle differences, and see how they fit perfectly into sentences. This is how we move from simply knowing words to truly owning them. Once we've unearthed the rich history, diverse relationships, and practical applications of words by looking beyond their basic definitions, we're ready to move from simply knowing words to truly using them with confidence and flair. The next step is to explore how these deeper understandings translate into more effective communication. 4. Exploring dictionary features. They are the building blocks of our thoughts, the paintbrushes of our ideas. We often look up a new word in a dictionary like a traveler stopping at a signpost. We want to know its meaning, and that's good. It's a necessary first step. But imagine a signpost that only tells you the name of the town. It doesn't tell you about the winding roads that lead there, the people who live there, or the stories the town holds. A dictionary can be much more than just a list of meanings. It can be a map to a whole world of understanding. Think about the word happy. We all know what it means, right? It's a feeling of joy. But what if we could understand why we feel happy, where that feeling comes from, and how it connects to other feelings? What if we could see how happy is used in a poem, or in a casual chat with a friend? This is where the idea of holistic dictionary use truly shines. It means we don't just stop at the meaning. We look at everything else the dictionary offers. We explore the word's journey, its family, and its adventures in real sentences. This way, a word stops being just a label and becomes a living, breathing part of our language. Let's start with the word's life story. Every word has a history, a journey from where it began to where it is today. This is called etymology. It's like looking at an old photograph of a word's ancestors. Understanding where a word comes from can unlock its deeper meaning. It can explain why it feels the way it does, or why it's used in certain situations. Take the word benevolent. If you just look at the meaning, you'll see it means kind and generous. That's helpful. But if you peek at its etymology, you'll find it comes from two old Latin words, bene, meaning good, and volens, meaning wishing. So, benevolent literally means wishing good. Doesn't that give you a warmer, more complete picture? It's not just about being kind. It's about having a genuine desire for others' well-being. This deeper understanding makes the word stick in your mind much better. It's like knowing the ingredients of a delicious meal. It makes you appreciate the final taste even more. When you see benevolent now, you can feel that wishing good in your heart, and it becomes a more powerful word for you. This journey into a word's past helps us see how its meaning has grown and changed. Sometimes, a word's original meaning is still very strong, even after hundreds of years. Other times, the meaning has shifted a little, like a river changing its course over time. By tracing these paths, we gain a richer appreciation for the word's current use. It's like a detective piecing together clues. Each clue, each part of the word's history, helps us understand the whole story. This active exploration makes learning words an adventure, not a chore. Next, let's talk about a word's friends and its opposites, synonyms and antonyms. These are incredibly useful tools for building a strong vocabulary. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings, while antonyms have opposite meanings. When you look up a word, most dictionaries will offer lists of these related words. Why is this so important? Imagine you want to describe a beautiful flower. You could say it's pretty, but what if you want to be more specific? Looking at synonyms for pretty might give you words like lovely, gorgeous, stunning, or exquisite. Each of these words paints a slightly different picture. Lovely might suggest a gentle, charming beauty. Gorgeous might imply a more striking, eye-catching beauty. Stunning suggests something that takes your breath away. Exquisite points to a delicate, perfect beauty. By exploring these synonyms, you're not just finding another word for pretty, you're learning to express different shades of beauty. You're building a richer palette of words to paint with. Antonyms work in a similar way, but they help us understand what a word isn't. If you look up brave, you'll find its antonym is often cowardly. Understanding this contrast helps you clearly define the boundaries of brave. It's not just about being unafraid, it's about facing fear, which is something a cowardly person would avoid. This comparison sharpens your understanding of the word's true meaning. When you actively look for synonyms and antonyms, you're creating a web of words in your mind. Each new word you learn connects to others. This creates a strong mental network. Instead of having isolated words floating around, you have a connected system. This makes it much easier to remember words and to choose the exact right word for what you want to Say, it's like building a strong bridge between your thoughts and your words. This process of comparison and contrast is a powerful way to learn. It's active, it's engaging, and it builds a much deeper understanding than simply memorizing a single meaning. Now, let's move to perhaps the most practical feature of all, example sentences. Meanings tell you what a word means in theory. Example sentences show you how a word works in the real world. They are like little windows into how native speakers use the language. Think about the word run. You know it means to move quickly on your feet. But dictionaries offer sentences like, I need to run to the store for milk. Or, the play is running for another month. Or, my nose is running. Or, he runs a small business. See how many different ways run can be used. It's not always about physical movement. These examples show you the different meanings and the different situations where the word fits. Why is this so crucial for learning? Because language is alive. Words change their meaning slightly depending on who is speaking, who they are speaking to, and what they are talking about. Example sentences provide this vital context. They show you the grammar, how the word fits into a sentence. They demonstrate common phrases or idioms that use the word. For instance, if you learn break a leg, the meaning might be confusing. But an example sentence like, break a leg in your performance tonight, shows you it's an idiom for good luck. When you take the time to read and understand these example sentences, you are actively practicing your comprehension. You are seeing the word in action. This is far more effective than just reading the meaning over and over. It's like learning to cook by following a recipe and seeing pictures of each step, rather than just reading the list of ingredients. You learn not just what to do, but how to do it. This practical use is key to truly mastering a word. You begin to feel comfortable using it because you've seen it used correctly many times. The power of comparison lies at the heart of this active learning. Instead of passively accepting a meaning, you are actively engaging with the word. You are comparing its origin to its current meaning. You are contrasting it with its synonyms and antonyms to understand its unique place. You are observing it in various sentences to see its flexibility. This comparative approach transforms learning from a one-dimensional task into a rich, multidimensional experience. Let's consider a personal example. I remember struggling with the word ephemeral when I first encountered it in a poem. The dictionary said it meant lasting for a very short time. That was clear enough, but it felt a bit dry. I decided to explore further. I looked at its etymology. It comes from Greek words related to day and staying. So it was literally about something that lasts for a day. This made the idea of short time feel more concrete. Then I looked at its synonyms. Words like fleeting, transient, short-lived, and momentary appeared. I noticed how fleeting suggested something that quickly passes by, like a shadow. Transient felt more like something that is just passing through, not staying long. Momentary felt like it lasted only for a moment. This helped me see that ephemeral carried a sense of delicate, perhaps beautiful, shortness. Finally, I read example sentences. The ephemeral beauty of a sunset. The ephemeral nature of youth. Ephemeral blossoms that bloom for only a few days. These sentences painted a vivid picture. They showed me that ephemeral often describes things that are beautiful precisely because they don't last. The sunset is stunning, but it fades. Youth is precious, but it passes. The flowers are lovely, but their time is brief. By going beyond the simple meaning, by exploring the word's history, its related words, and its real-life uses, ephemeral transformed from a difficult word into a beautiful concept. It became a word I could not only understand, but also use with confidence to describe delicate, fleeting moments. This is the essence of holistic dictionary use, seeing the word not as an isolated entry, but as part of a vast, interconnected linguistic landscape. It's about actively exploring all the pathways a word offers, making your understanding deeper, your memory stronger, and your ability to communicate richer. By now, you've seen that a dictionary is not just a list of meanings, but a vibrant ecosystem of linguistic information. In the next section, we'll explore how to strategically combine these features to build a powerful vocabulary that is not only broad, but also deeply understood and readily applicable. Conclusion: you open this book to learn more English and to feel more sure when you speak. You might have thought that dictionaries were just for looking up what a word means quickly. Many people learn this way. They find a word, maybe write it down, and hope to remember it. But often, these words disappear like fog, and you feel like you are back where you started, still trying to find the right words. Just looking at a word's meaning is like looking at one brick and expecting to know what the whole house looks like. It's a start, but it's not everything. This book wanted to show you a different way. It's about seeing dictionaries as full of interesting information, not just lists of words. The best part of English, we found out, is not just knowing what a word means, but knowing its story, how it connects to other words, and how it is really used. When you go deeper than just the first meaning, you start to truly understand. Words stop being just letters and become strong tools for you. This is the main idea of what we call using dictionaries fully. It's a simple idea. Don't just stop at the first meaning you see. Think of each word in the dictionary as a small lesson that helps you understand more. You should look at all the information a dictionary gives you, not just a little bit. Remember how knowing a word's history can help you understand it and connect it to other words? It's like knowing a word's family, which helps you understand its personality. We learn that similar words are not just the same. They have small differences that help you say exactly what you mean. They help you choose the best word for any situation. And opposite words? They don't just show what is different. They help you understand what a word is by showing you what it is not. They make your understanding clearer by showing the contrast. Most importantly, we saw that example sentences show you how words are really used. They show you how words work in talking and writing. When you put together a word's history, its similar words, and example sentences, you don't just know a word, you understand it. You see where it comes from, its friends, and how it is used. This way of looking at words helps you build a strong memory for words, so they stay with you and you can use them with confidence. Whether you use a phone or a book, these helpful tools are easy to find. This book has given you the directions and the tools. Now, it's time for you to start your own journey. The ideas of using dictionaries fully are not the end. They are the start of a lifelong adventure of learning. Words. Make it a habit to look beyond the first meaning. The next time you see a new word, don't just stop at the meaning. Ask yourself, where did this word come from? What words are like it? What word is the opposite? How is it used in a sentence? Even spending a few extra minutes on each word will help you a lot over time. Imagine how confident you will feel when you talk, knowing you can pick the exact word to share your thoughts. Think about how clear and powerful your writing will be with words that are chosen carefully and precisely. Imagine how you will understand hard texts by knowing words more deeply and naturally. You now have the way to truly open up English. You are not just reading meanings, you are actively exploring and building your own world of words. Learning English well is like running a long race, not a short one. But by using dictionaries fully, you have a special help, a good plan to make each step better and more useful. Go and explore. Look deeper into the meaning of every word. Your English adventure is waiting.